Hi, welcome to Alaskan and the Philippines. Today I thought I'd talk about the differences between the Philippines and retiring here in Thailand. I think what a man has to do is look at what are your priorities. What are your priorities? Are you want the prettiest girls? Do you want the best fishing? Do you want the cheapest prices? The easiest lifestyle? It's just things that it's each and everyone's priority. So if you compare foods and stuff, like the food, Philippines, there's good food there. You'd never go hungry. It's a good place to eat. There's nothing wrong with it. The choices in the Thailand are just much more abundant, and a different type of food too. So you can go either way. You can go Filipino style. They have actually every kind of food in the world in Thailand. Mostly from what I've seen, they have restaurants of every type, and there's probably the original people running them too. And that's one thing. Now, if you want the prettiest girls, the Filipino girls, Filipinas are very beautiful. The Thais are very, very beautiful. There's beautiful women all over Asia. So that's a no-brainer, really. And what do you want for low prices? Both the Philippines is real low priced. Thailand here is real low priced again. And I think Thailand kind of beats it out. Even the food prices in the Philippines are cheaper. If you're cooking stuff, you can get your food cheaper there, in my opinion, so far from what I've seen. But I haven't found all the shopping places here yet, too, so I'm going to change that maybe. But yeah, you could get all the food ingredients and stuff here. But it's just as easy to eat out here because there's so many more choices here than the Philippines, in my opinion. If you're going to eat at the small mom and pop Filipino sites, it's kind of the same soups and stuff, and they'll have some chopped meat and gravy to put over rice and things like that. They'll have lumpia they'll sell and punsit, and that's about it. They'll have them set up right on the street already cooked. But in the Thailand, there's street food cooking going on all over the place. They're really whipping it. There's stalls every intersection. There's all kinds of meat on a stick stalls. They have those in the Philippines too, meat on a stick. Usually chicken guts. They're good. I love them too. Chicken gut on a stick is really good. And just regular chicken, they'll barbecue it and you can buy it. It's real cheap. That's one good thing. So you can buy cheap food in both places. So it all depends. And then I'll give it another grading. In my book, it has to tick this box. It's got to be somewhat livable, as far as the environment. I hate living in a real polluted place, a whole bunch of smog. So that's a problem for me. I'd love to live in a place without trash, because I came from Alaska and it was pristine out, where I lived. It was most of the country was just pristine. There was no garbage. There was some in the village, of course. But around out the village, outside, there was nice. It was no trash. So I like that clean water. I need clean water. A beach is always a good, that one ticks my box. I'd like to have a beach. And the mountains for jungle in the background where you can go hiking and stuff too. That's always a plus. You had that in both Dumaguete. I had that in mountains and a beach nearby. Here in Hue Hin, though, the beach is within walking distance, and the mountains are up that way. I haven't been into them yet, but I can see them from here. I could walk to them if I wanted to. So that's pretty cool. So they both have that. They both have beautiful women. They both have food and cheap prices, and the environment is good. Certain places in Manila, in Thailand, though, or like Philippines, it ain't all pristine. There's a lot of bad polluted areas around Manila and stuff, and here same way around Bangkok. The rivers were stinking when I was in Bangkok. So that's they both have that. So you got to find that haven in both countries. You got to find a place that's unpolluted as best you can. And for Dumaguete, the city is actually kind of trashed up. There's a lot of trash, garbage all over. It's a beautiful place. There's a beautiful seawalk there. The seawalk is kind of smelly because the raw sewage goes into the river there, or into the ocean. But you don't smell it all the time, but it can be a turn off too. So there's that. Here in Hue Hin, the beaches appeared to be clean, but we had a tide of trash come in, and now I'm noticing there's more trash on the beach. The water don't stink. There's wildlife and stuff, so it's pretty pristine, and it remains relatively clean. The tide brings the trash in and out. The city is cleaner than Dumaguete. People pick up the trash here. It's very, very, very clean compared to most cities I've seen. You know, everybody's out sweeping every morning. They do that a lot in the Philippines too, but then littering is the problem there too. So that's another thing. So if you got to find a place in the Philippines where you're out of the main city and maybe one of the islands, you've got a great help that's a girlfriend or something, and she's got a banana plantation and it's right by the ocean and the mountains are right there, you'd be in heaven. You know, that would be a perfect situation for you if that's what you wanted. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'd like to have a little piece of jungle and live like I did in Alaska, be able to subsist a little off my own, you know, growing my own food and stuff. That's my ideal thing. And then be able to go to a clean beach and go snorkeling and diving and stuff. That's what I want to do. So anyway, that ticks the box. You can do that in Dumaguete. You go down to Darwin. They got some diving, awesome snorkeling right there on the beach. It's a travel though. You got to travel 20 miles or 15 miles or something. But here in Hue Hin, I haven't done any snorkeling. There's no dive shops set up or anything. I'm not seeing anyone renting snorkel gear. So I'm sure there's some. I got to find it. And then maybe I'll take a snorkel trip. So then everything can be even, you know. If you find a place in Thailand, the same as a place in Dumaguete where it's got everything, it ticks all your boxes. The environment is clean and you're swimming in good water and you got reefs and stuff to explore, and then in mountains, so then you're okay. Now and then you're pretty girls. There's pretty girls everywhere, both countries. So everything ticks all the boxes, but then it'll all boil down in the end to one thing, in my opinion. How is the healthcare? Because in the end, when you're about 80 years old and you're laying there and you can't do much, you know, your priorities are going to change. It's not going to be which country has the most pretty girls, which country has the best food, which country has the cleanest environment. It's going to be which country can take care of my old fallen apart carcass while it advance age into no man's land, you know, where you don't come back. And what's going to happen to me if I do? So that's one thing that'll boil it all down in the end, you know. How good is the healthcare in the end? In my final years, what am I going to need? So then you got to think about the Philippines, as they're kind of way behind on the healthcare. I hear is okay if you go into the Manila, you know, St. Jude's, but they say it's going to cost you just like Western prices too. And I've heard it ain't the best care, but I hear it's pretty top notch. Probably be okay. Cebu probably has good hospitals there. Maybe Davao, somewhere down in there, they do too. But here in Thailand is the third ranked in the world for the best health care. So I don't see how you could go wrong, and it's fairly reasonably cheap, and there's hospitals all over in small communities that are backed by the government, and, you know, have government hospitals that have the same surgeons working as the private hospitals that charge a lot more too. So that's my opinion. That's going to be the final thing that you should really consider. Are you going to be near good health care when you need it? Because if we're all retiring here, as our age advances, that's going to be the end. Number one priority for every expat retiree in the end is what can I do? You know, in the Philippines, when you die, if you get buried there, you gotta rent the plot. You know, you gotta pay your rent every year for your plot there, and if they don't pay the rent, they're gonna dig you up and burn your bones and feed you to the dogs, I guess. I don't know what they'll do. And I'm not sure what goes on here in Thailand. Probably cost a lot of money to send your body back and stuff. So, but we're not at that stage yet, and that I ain't considering that, but you never know. But anyway, that's my thoughts of what your final priority should or could or might be when you get into your advanced stage here in retirement. Rather than the pretty girls, the good food, and the beautiful weather, you might want to consider the health care in the end. Well, if you learned anything, thanks again. Like and share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.